US President Donald Trump's 28-point peace plan for Ukraine appears to be gaining momentum, even though it heavily favors Russia. Kyiv is now signaling readiness to move forward despite the strikes by Russia continuing. They even continue to kill several people and even knock out the power. The White House has said that tremendous progress has already been made, while Moscow insists any deal must align with what Putin and Trump discussed in Alaska. Here's a report.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Tuesday that Ukraine was ready to advance a US-backed framework for ending the war with Russia, and discussed disputed points with US President Donald Trump in talks he said should include European allies. Underlining the high stakes for Ukraine, its capital Kyiv was hit by a barrage of missiles and hundreds of drones overnight, in a Russian strike that killed several people and again disrupted power and heating systems. Residents were seen sheltering underground, wearing winter jackets, some in tents. US and Ukrainian officials have been trying to narrow the gaps between them over the plan to end the conflict, with Ukraine wary of being strong-armed into accepting a deal largely on Russia's terms, including territorial concessions. Kyiv's message hinted that an intense diplomatic push by the Trump administration could be making progress.
So I think we're getting very close to a deal. We'll find out.
But any optimism could be short-lived, especially as Russia stressed it would not let any deal stray too far from its own objectives. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said an amended peace plan must reflect the, quote, spirit and letter of an understanding reached between Putin and Trump at their Alaska summit in August. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on X that the U.S. had made tremendous progress towards a deal over the past week, adding that there are, quote, a few delicate but not insurmountable details that remain. French President Emmanuel Macron, in a call with a group of countries supporting Ukraine, known as the Coalition of the Willing, said talks were at a critical juncture.
The absolute condition for a good peace is a set of very robust security guarantees, and not paper guarantees.
The 28-point peace plan that emerged last week caught many in the US government, Kyiv, and Europe alike off guard. The plan would require Ukraine to cede territory beyond the almost 20% of the country that Russia has captured since its February 2022 full-scale invasion, as well as accept curbs on its military and bar it from ever joining NATO. Conditions Kyiv has long rejected as tantamount to surrender.
The Kremlin has rejected Europe's revised peace plan for Ukraine, calling it not constructive. The original US plan alarmed Kyiv with territorial and military concessions. Europe's version freezes fighting and offers US security guarantees, but Moscow dismisses it, warning further advances if Kyiv refuses. What's going to be the end result? Let's try and probe deeper. Here's the report.
The Kremlin said on Monday that a European counterproposal to a US 28-point peace plan for Ukraine was not constructive, and that it simply did not work for Moscow.
Forward to the just and lasting peace.
The original US peace plan, which came out last week, blindsided Kyiv and European allies. It also deepened concerns that Russia's core demands had been accepted by Washington. The plan included calls for Ukraine to cede some territory, accept limits on its military, and renounce ambitions to join NATO. But the revised European counterplan, agreed after talks in Geneva, considerably changes the significance and meaning of key points. According to a copy reviewed by Reuters, it would halt fighting at present front lines, leaving discussions of territory for later, and include a NATO-style US security guarantee for Ukraine. On Friday, Russian President Vladimir Putin said US proposals for peace in Ukraine could be the basis of a resolution to the conflict, but that if Kyiv turned down the plan, Russian forces would advance further.